Hello and welcome to another edition of VisionCast Network, where collaboration and technology come together in support of lifting consciousness on the planet. We have a return guest today, and I'm so excited to welcome back Jen Vinges, and she works with men and women who are over 40 that are struggling with limiting beliefs and just all around bad habits. She helps them get their minds right. So welcome back, Jen. So good to see you again.
Oh my goodness. I am so glad to be back. Thank you so much for having me. Such a pleasure.
You're welcome. And we were talking off camera earlier about what happens when we start to make shifts and changes. We might think things get a little bit worse on the front end, but what do you think's really going on there?
I think what's happening is, well, whatever we think in our mind is creates an emotion in our body. And in yoga, they're called samskaras. They're like edged in our body so deep that we don't even know that they're there. And when we start to take care of ourselves, whether it's starting physically and then starting to take care of our mindset, it kind of starts to open up what's been suppressed for so long. And a lot of times that's really scary, right? Like these flashbacks of a lot of pain comes up, and what'll happen is the people tend to then suppress it and go back to their old ways because that what's coming up for them is really painful. And I think if we can just sit in that for a little bit, right? Because it's like, do you want to be in that cycle of pain forever? Or can we stay in that little bit of pain for a moment, face it, figure out what's going on and move through it? And I think if we can understand that, then that's going to be a huge shift for a lot of people. I know, at least I know it was for me. I still have stuff that comes up from time to time, right?
If you don't raise your hand, you lie about other things as well, right? So that's beautiful. So let's be uncomfortable for a period of time so that we can integrate that lesson so that it lessens and we move on with our life. So what is
Yeah.
it that you do skillfully do to support your clients in moving through that period of discomfort?
Well, I look at the body as a whole. I
Mhm.
look at actually life as a whole. So I teach to 7 pillars of mastery. Number one, having the awareness. If we're not aware of what's happening in life, we can't make any shifts. And
Yeah.
then I teach to the mindset because it's a mindset shift. And then from there, it's an energetic shift. I always say that there's like three bodies: the physical body, the mental body, and then the energetic body.
Okay.
From there, I support my client and their journey through nutrition, exercise, recovery, and community. So there's the 7 pillars of mastery of life, really. If you can tap into all of those, and I don't expect clients to do all seven their first day with me, it's kind of we start to layer things on. It's a progression. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm in control of my life. My
Mm.
clients are coming to me out of control in their life. And
Yes.
then there's this beautiful shift like, oh no, I actually can create my life. And here are my tools.
Beautiful. So the first was it nutrition, exercise, then what was after that?
So first it's awareness.
Awareness. Okay. Mhm.
It's awareness, it's mindset, energy, nutrition, exercise, community, and recovery. Well, recovery, then community. All of those things factor into creating a beautiful life. Those have been the pillar of my life for many years now. And again, the mindset and those old stories, though, are still in me too. And right, they come up. There's things in life that triggers. We have triggers, and if we're not familiar with our triggers, when it comes up, it could be like a rush. But
Yeah.
once we learn our triggers, it's like kind of gives us this space, right? It's like, oh, that person or that thing is a trigger. This
Yeah.
was my old reaction. I have awareness now and I can react, not react, but I can act now instead of react.
Yes. Move forward in a way that's informed.
Yes, and more empowering.
Is it not that okay? Is it realistic or unrealistic to think I'm never going to be triggered again? It's kind of unrealistic.
No, yeah.
I'm not. I'm enlightened.
I was majorly triggered like 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago, if I'm being honest.
So like the true test is like okay, I'm going to DMV and I'm
Yeah,
going to remain.
I did. And actually,
Oh,
it was a DMV.
yeah, I hear you. So, so it's not about not being triggered. It's about, okay, I'm aware of the trigger, and this can be a signal to shift my awareness.
Yes, 100%. It's like, because now instead of being blindfolds on and things coming at you and kind of just like trying to take care of things, now it's like you take the blindfolds off of your life, you see what's coming at you in life, you can take a breath, you're grounded because you're feeling good, because you're exercising, you're eating the right foods that support you. So you have all this support physically, mentally, energetically. So when that thing, that person, that trigger comes at you, you're more equipped to act. And like you said, to make that shift and have that awareness.
Beautiful. Would you say a little bit more, please, about nutrition, exercise, community, and how that all ties into your skillful guidance of your
Oh, yes. So I'm not a nutritionist, but I have studied nutrition in various levels. And what I teach people is simply just start to read labels. You ever eat like a really heavy meal around the holidays, right? And we're all like, feeling some tired and
Yeah.
sluggish. So I start to help clients create that awareness of what foods actually fuel their body and what foods deplete their bodies. And
Yep.
then also really teaching them how to read labels. Like we see on the front package, gluten-free, sugar-free, fat-free. Oh my gosh, this must be so good for me. And then you turn it over and the first 5 ingredients is sugar and things that you can't pronounce. And that's really what's in that product. So it's like advertisement on the front, what's really going on in the back. So a lot of my clients have this aha moment, like they're really consuming a lot of sugar. And so what sugar does is it causes inflammation in the body. It causes disease in the body. So when the body is breaking down, it's not equipped to handle life. So just making small adjustments in their nutritional day, again, it's not an overhaul, because if we overhaul the system all at once, our system will shut down. It's making these small changes over a period of time. So I teach them that, and I also teach them the importance and what hydration does for you, just simply keeping the body hydrated, what foods cause inflammation, what foods can help, and then also exercise. If you're in a low energy state and I always say, just move your arms around, just like raise them up, and it starts to move the energy, starts to move the emotion. So I teach to the energetic and emotional body through the physical body, but also what I like to teach is having strength today for tomorrow, meaning I see so many people in their 80s and 90s who have no strength, who simply walking is a struggle. But on the same breath, I see people in their hundreds living great quality of life because of these simple 7 steps that they've taken. They've taken care of their mindset. They're walking, they're eating healthy foods. I'm not saying you have to eat clean 100% of the time, but there's this rule like 80-20, 80% of the time you're eating all natural foods and then having that slice of pizza or the ice cream. But here's the thing, what people do is they then have guilt around it. And then that's a whole other thing. It's really eating those things without guilt is the key.
Beautiful. So I will tell a story on you. I was watching one of your, I think it was Instagram posts about exercise and drinking water. And you said, it's really important to wake up in the morning, have a glass of water.
Mhm.
I've been doing it every morning for like the last 10 days.
Oh, yay.
Having a full one of these every single morning.
It's
So
super important because throughout the night, our body is still maintaining its system. So we wake up dehydrated,
yeah,
and the first thing most of us do is reach for our coffee, which is a diuretic. So then
yeah,
we're already dehydrated, and then we're making it worse by having coffee.
yeah.
If you drink the glass of water, you're refueling, you're getting all the good stuff going through you, and you're already setting, I like to set the habits for the day. You're already setting your first or second win of the day by just rehydrating your body. And plus it feels good. And I'm vain. I'm very vain. It's very good for your skin.
Okay, I'll drink more water. Thank you. I will do that, Jen. I'll report back. But that tip was really very helpful, especially because I live in the desert. I live in
Yeah.
the desert, and they say it's a dry heat. Well, it's still really hot. It's still
Yeah.
really, really hot. So
It's amazing.
how about community? To
Oh,
talk
community is
about
so
community, the
important.
importance of community.
Yeah, so they're finding that being in a community and having that supportive community around you helps lift you up. It keeps you more engaged in life. It keeps you feeling good. I mean, we're lucky, you and I are part of an amazing community with masterminds. And I know for myself, I mean, I like, you're my people. I never have a bad day because I am tapped into my community, and that's what I create. I have a mastermind of my own on Facebook, and that's what I want for them. It's so important to feel like you're seen, heard, and supported.
Yeah.
And that's the importance of community, not tearing people down, but really having a community that lifts you up, that
Yeah.
when you're feeling low, you can tap into that community because there are people there that truly love you, regardless of what's going on in your life, regardless of your age, your gender, who you love, what you look like. That's super important, having that community support. And that's one thing that I I came into this through yoga, and I loved having that community, knowing that you would go to class the way I would teach, and there was, it was a community. We were a family. And so I really honor the support of community, and especially like for me with my mastermind, that's just one community. I'm grateful to be a part of many communities. And I want that for people. So I offer that to people. Like I want people to know you're not alone. There's a lot of people, a lot of times we feel alone when we're not in a community. And
Yeah.
it doesn't take much to get in a community. It's just getting into the right community, surrounding yourself with people that love and care for you. And having that is so important to your overall health and well-being, your immune system, like all of these things, they're not singular. Like when I came in through personal training, I was only studying the body. And then it's all these other factors. I'm like, oh no, everything plays into effect, even how you live. I surround myself with beautiful flowers and gardens, and that creates my community, my environment, what feels good to me. So it's really creating feel good moments throughout the day and throughout your life. That's super important.
I love that. There was I don't recall, I think maybe he might have even been an evangelical preacher. His name is Charlie Tremendous Jones. And he said, I heard this probably 35 years ago, and it stuck with me. And he said, the books we read and the people we associate with determine who we become in 5 years.
Yes. Hmm.
For whatever reason, that's stuck in my mind. And so reading and association and how we invest that one resource that's not refundable, time, how we
Hmm.
invest that really shapes our life. So I love that you're doing that.
I love that you shared that too, because that has been something that I've heard throughout the years, the 5 people that you surround yourself. And this is really important for listeners too. The 5 people that you surround yourself is who you're going to become. So if there's qualities, I always say, like, evaluate who you're sharing your space with.
Yeah.
There's qualities that you don't like in a person. There's nothing wrong with that. But just remember, the 5 people you hang out with are the 5 people that commute that you're going to become an aspect of that person.
Yeah.
And so again, another reason why I talk about communities, right? Being a part of a community on where you want to go. We're in mastermind. We're all business minded people. We all are community people. We are coming from service. And so surrounding myself with that, it increases who I am just by being in the presence of people like you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I just have always felt like we were, siblings from different parents. And the thing about Mastermind, I heard you say it's really a business community. And while it is business, I think it's really a service, a
Mhm.
loving service, heart-centered community, people that really desire to make a positive change in the world. And I didn't really plan on talking about this, but I learned this last week. I wanted to share it with you, and in case you haven't heard it, you're gonna get to hear it now. But there's this thing called the axial, AXIAL, axial age. You can Google it. It was in 300 to actually 500 to 300 BCE, where Eastern religions were formed, where the Upanishads came to be, Greek philosophy, on and on and on and on. And it was at a time where in densely populated areas, these wonderful ideas of transformational thinking and being all of a sudden sprung up as if by magic. And so the thought is now that we are in
Oh,
another axial age when we think about it, we are a closely a highly populated environment, but the highly populated environment back then was local. Now it's global because of what's
yes.
happened with the pandemic and Zoom,
Mhm.
and our ability to really knit minds together in ways that are powerful and potent in service, in transformational service. Axial age, AXIAL.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I love that idea.
Thank you. We're going to have another conversation about that.
We- I
Next,
love our conversations. They're so
I
great.
love them too. It's like the axial age sessions, right?
Yeah, it'll be a spin-off.
It'll be a spin-off right on. How can we do that? So, Jen, as always, thank you for your time. So good to see you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate sharing space and conversation with you.
Absolutely. We'll see you around school.
Take care.
Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye.